Two very common questions that I get are, Rob, is it possible to study at an affordable university in America and still get a good degree? And if I have a 3-year bachelor's degree, can I study abroad in the US? Great news for you guys is we have answers to that with Prithvi, who's done that himself. He studied abroad on a 3-year bachelor's degree at a great university that was cheap and affordable. So stay tuned to learn how he did that. Hey friends, welcome to Chine Coaching. I'm Rob, and at Chine Coaching, we're all about helping you to find success in your cross-cultural journeys, especially with studying abroad. And in this video, we've got some really unique topics to discuss, especially someone going from a business background, pivoting now into more of a tech STEM background here in America, and transitioning careers and industries, which you guys are going to learn a ton from. So Prithvi, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, Rob. I'm Prithvi Raj. I'm from Hyderabad, India, which is from the southern part of India, as you know. And I did my bachelor's in business administration from Osmania University in Hyderabad. And after that, I had work experience of about 5 years in marketing and trainings. And now I'm here in the US studying at Wright State University in Dayton, Ohio. I'm getting my master's in marketing analytics and insights. And I came here on a 3 years bachelor's degree, and that's it from me.
Fantastic. So great to have you here in this conversation. Let's start with kind of your profile and background and kind of where you came from that still allowed you to come abroad to the States.
I wanted to be a software engineer when I was a kid, and everything around me was software. I've been on the internet since 1997. And maybe that's almost 24 years, I think, not 24, 25 years. And the internet was like my friend more than people and all of that. At a certain point around 2010, when I was finishing high school, I was looking at what to do next. I felt like I didn't want to marry the computer. I said, okay, maybe software engineering, which I was good at. I was coding since 2004 and all that. I felt maybe I should look at other options. So I looked into business, and I wanted to maybe do something there. Then I joined BBA, Bachelor's in Business Administration, and I finished that. I was also a part of Toastmasters, which I used to speak in public and all this. The BBA and the Toastmastering, all this combined, led to some opportunities in the training space in Hyderabad. I was operating in the training industry, teaching productivity skills and some other tools in Hyderabad for about 5 years. And when COVID hit, there were no trainings. And I decided to maybe look at other options. I've done this for a while, wanted to look at what else I can do. I mean, there's my entire life ahead. Do I want to do this for the rest of my life? And I was contemplating where to go. I wanted a change of scene. I had done some traveling during my time to Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Bali, Europe a little bit. And I wanted to look at other options. I was looking at Canada. US was not even on my radar in the beginning. And after due to COVID, Canada completely shut its doors and they were not accepting anyone almost. So I said, okay. And I asked people who knew me, which country do you think I should go to? And 3 or 4 people said, Prithvi, for your background, your thought process, the US is the place for you. And I never thought of this, but since they were all telling me the same thing, I said, okay, maybe I will give US a shot. And there is a STEM requirement. If I went to study in Canada or in UK or some other country, there would not be a requirement of, I could choose anything and get the same work permit. However, in the case of US, only the STEM programs get 36 months of OPT. So I was looking around for programs. And this journey was a very, very arduous journey. I searched hundreds of programs. All the expensive and top tier programs from top tier institutions such as MIT, Harvard, and all those places, they had STEM MBAs and STEM programs. However, if you go to the lower tier universities, something which was more affordable, I wouldn't say low tier, but maybe not at the top, and they were not as affordable. They did not have STEM programs as much as I'd like. So I had to research. I think I must have spoken to around 100 universities, asked them, emailed them, called them, stayed up in the night, used this app called Text Now. It allows you to call US for free, and done all that. And after maybe talking to about 100. Half of them never responded, or half of them, the ones who responded, they did so very late. Few responded in a timely duration, and even fewer had it on the website saying this is a STEM program and eligible for OPT extension. So after this entire ordeal, I'd say, I found Wright State University, and I emailed the professor, the chair of the department, Dr. Goodrich, and asked him if I am a good candidate for this program. And he looked at my resume, evaluated it, and said, I think you'll do great here. And I applied. There was some kind of free coupon at that time, a one-time thing. They gave me no application fee. Got in, and then I got the visa. That's where it started. My journey to the US started like this. And there are a lot of road bumps thanks to COVID, but I'd rather not go into all that.
And what were some of the other details for your profile with your application for when you were applying abroad?
So I took the IELTS exam, and I got a score of 9 on the IELTS. 6.5 or 7 is probably enough to get in to Wright State. I passed that requirement. My program in particular asked for a resume instead of a statement of purpose. And I asked my professor why this was this. And he said that he's from industry and he preferred looking at resumes instead of statement of purpose. Like, okay, whatever you'd like. They do an evaluation of your 3 years bachelor's degree and internally. So some universities outsource this, say that you should go to WES, World Education Services, or SPAN, or some service like that, pay them, get a certificate, evaluation, academic credentials evaluation, and get the equivalency certificate for what it is in US. In this particular case, the university did it in-house, so it saved you a lot of time and money. So they did that research, but they do it according to the WES principles. So you can actually go to the WES website and check if your degree is eligible for admission, is equivalent to an American bachelor's. So the criteria is basically 2 things. One, this is only for Indian bachelors. One, that your university is accredited by the NAAC. I don't know what exactly it stands for, but it's a National Accreditation Framework Council or something, which accredits all universities and colleges inside of India. And you should have A and above. A plus, A++ are the ones that they accept. And you should have earned your degree in first division. The first division means 60% or more equals first division in my university. So if these 2 criteria are satisfied, then your degree, bachelor's degree, 3 years bachelor's, is equivalent to a 4 years bachelor's degree in the US.
So it's great that you found out that your 3-year degree can be eligible in America for a master's, but tell us more about why you chose America and transitioned more into STEM and analytics with your business focus.
As you know, I researched about 100 universities, and I was originally looking at MBA programs at the STEM, and then when I found this program, which is MS Marketing Analytics, it was a one-of-its-kind unique program. There weren't any such programs anywhere else in the country, which were also STEM. There were some programs, but they were not STEM. And what happened here is when I looked at the curriculum, I just fell in love with it. It was perfect. Everything that was being taught was similar to my background, and it was sort of like I had this crude, raw experience in the industry. And then this gave it the necessary polish that I needed. So when I read this, I just felt at home. I felt I need to be here. I need to study this. And also, one other thing was I looked at all the other programs. I looked at the curriculum for many other business analytics programs. And these business analytics programs, I felt like they were technical programs with some business attached. Whereas my program is an even mix of both business concepts and analytics. So I chose this for that particular reason. And I'm happy here. I'm going to graduate in the fall this year.
So Prithvi, we know that you researched hundreds of universities, you got several great admits as well, but tell us, why did you choose Wright State among all of your admit options?
So I applied after researching all these 100 universities, I applied to a couple of universities. And the ones I remember right now are Wright State, University of North Texas. They had an MBA and MS in Business Analytics. UT Dallas, MS Marketing. And I also applied and then realized something else in Texas Tech University, which is based in Lubbock, Texas. The program said STEM MBA. So I assumed that it was MBA with a STEM extension, that is OPT extension for international students. And that's what it said on a Quora post, actually. So I read somebody's answer and then I decided to apply. Turns out that it's not a STEM eligible program, and it is instead an MBA for STEM undergraduates, domestic students in the US, not for international students at all. And I had already paid the fee, application fee, and I was like totally bummed out.
Oh no.
I told them, look, you have to refund my application fee. This is not fair. And they said, maybe you can apply to this other program, which would be eligible. I said, my career trajectory cannot change based on your policies. And they were gracious enough to give me a refund. And they also said, we'll change the language on the website so that it doesn't confuse students anymore. So that is one story. You should really understand that if you are applying for a STEM eligible program, on the program web page, not on the website overall, programs web page, each program has its own web page, there is a specific box that says this program is STEM as per DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and is eligible for the STEM extension of up to 24 of an extra 24 months or of total up to 36 months. Only if it says that it is a STEM eligible program that you should consider. It does not say that you should do your research before getting into all this.
It's so important to do your research and just go to the source yourself rather than trusting the words of other people.
Yes, and you will find a lot of consultants and people who will tell you that even if it doesn't say that it is STEM, don't make that mistake. Because I've heard people coming here and realizing it's not STEM and then moving into my program because it was STEM.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of misguiding happens out there. So the incentives are skewed and we can't really change that, but we can at least be vigilant and make sure that we do the best that we can.
Yeah.
So coming back to the question of why Wright State, in all these options that I listed, I had a $10,000 scholarship from Wright State, which is something unique to Wright State, and I did not get a scholarship in any of the other places. And after all the scholarship and everything I received, my tuition was about $25,000 for the entire program.
For all 2 years?
Yes, total 2 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
Compared to this, my program at UT Dallas was costing me around $50,000 or $60,000, which is double of what I'd be paying here. And this is not including all the other scholarships that I got after I came here. So I got some other scholarships and some COVID relief funds and stuff like that. So which was also another bonus. But so it's less than 25,000 actually in actuality. And considering the city of Dayton, which is a very affordable city, you would have to struggle to really spend more than $600, $700 a month here. You cannot spend this. Housing is cheap, everything is cheap. You can just walk to the university, and everything overall was cheaper in Dayton. So all of these factors combined with the fact that I liked the program and they were more accepting of international students overall, all of these factors led me to choose Wright State, even though I never had good experiences with snow in the past. I've been to a couple of places in Europe and I was freezing, and my entire vacation, I went to Bulgaria. My entire vacation was ruined because of the snow, and I was not well prepared and all that. But so I would have loved to come to Dallas or Texas, anywhere where there's no snow or you don't expect snow. But I still chose this. It was primarily a financial, economical reasons. Apart from the fact that the program is good, it's not a bad program. It's got all the accreditations from AACSB. The infrastructure is great. We have a lot of great things happening here. But yes, it's not I could not get the Texas weather, but everything else I'm truly happy with.
My friends, if you're learning a lot in this video like me, hit that like button to say thank you to Prithvi for sharing his story. And we've got a few more great tips coming up, especially about getting jobs on campus. But our chai question for you guys is, what degree do you want to pursue abroad? Let us know in the comments. All of our amazing viewers, tell us in the comments again, what degree do you want to pursue abroad? Prithvi had that unique transition from business going more now into STEM and analytics, but kind of getting that cool business marketing combination. So let us know what you guys are interested in, and we've got lots of other great videos on the channel covering all sorts of degrees here in America. And our next question, Prithvi, for you is, tell us about your first on-campus job and how you got that and what students need to know about getting on-campus jobs.
The first thing I'd like to mention is that we should not really believe anybody else if they're not getting jobs. That does not reflect on you. Some people tell you that you cannot get a job because the people from the previous intake did not get a job. So how can you expect to get a job? And they'll give you all these reasons. Probably they've not worked hard enough. They've not done enough to get a job. So I'd like to classify people into 3 different categories and explain. So there are some smart people who get a job, campus job, before they even land in the US. So they do the interview, they do everything sitting back home. I know one such person, and I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. How did you do that? So that is like the first category. I am not part of that category. I'm not that smart. Then there are second category of people who's maybe people like me, who I applied to a lot of jobs. My modus operandi was that I used to customize my resume according to the job role. In the end, it only comes down to 2 or 3 resumes that you actually need, because 90% of the positions are similar. That's a front office position or something like that, and you just get those. So it's not really a challenge to do the customization. And the thing I did, which probably got me the job that I did even before I landed in the States, I got the interview before I landed in the States, was that I sent a cover letter for every single job application, regardless of whether it asked for it or not. So I used to apply through Handshake, but and in Handshake also, there was this provision. Some of them asked you to submit the application via email. Do not submit it on Handshake. We do not check that. Most people don't even read those instructions. And then they are like, I submitted and it never came through. So I sent a cover letter explaining why I was the right fit for the role to all the positions that I applied for. And I think this was probably maybe one of the highest paying jobs on campus. I got a front office position, which was at the counseling center of the university. And they required only graduates. And also they wanted some experience, primarily because it was dealing with, it was a semi-quasi-medical type of facility and had some rules and confidentiality and several of these things. So they wanted somebody who would adhere to all of these things. And the director there really liked me based on my communications only by email. And I scheduled my interview 10 days before I actually came to the US. So I was supposed to be talking to him 2 days after I landed. I scheduled the interview before I came. And the day after I landed, in 2 days, I went to him. I went through the interview process, and next day I got the job. 3 days in America, I got first job. And so my recommendation for anyone looking for campus jobs, that you must first apply to every single position that you think you're a fit for. Do not apply to a position just because it's paying well or just because it sounds like a good opportunity. Because if you get into some kind of on-campus job, moving from one job to another is easier. However, if you've never got your first job, it's a Herculean task. Everything works against you. You don't have a social security number. At my time, there was COVID. Getting a social security number was taking forever. And it's like 8 weeks backlog for my local social security office and all of these things. Getting some kind of job and starting that record of income in the US always helps. And secondly, you have to believe in yourself. You talk to the people who are hiring, ask them what they're looking for. Just being proactive often leads to them at least considering you. You just send in a resume. Most of the time, resumes are not done well, or they're done according to Indian standards. And after that, you come here and you don't understand what happened and all of this. You think that you're applying and not getting any callbacks, but you probably aren't doing the customization or the cover letters or the follow-ups to the people that are actually hiring. And maybe they're looking for something, and you have exactly that thing that they're looking for. You probably are a good candidate. You've come to a great university. You have good speaking skills. You have probably a good work ethic. If you have all this, why don't you go the extra mile and just make sure that you get the job? Uh, put in the best foot, put the best foot forward, and just get it. And I have one tip that I personally benefited from with the resumes. I'd like to share that. My university has like 10 colleges under it, 10, maybe 12 colleges. And each of the colleges has one career consultant. This career consultant is supposed to help you with your resume and all these things. So at the time, I had not reached here, and I had the college email ID and everything. So I emailed the University Center for International Education, international office, told me that I should change my resume to the American standards. I didn't know what these American standards were at the time. And they said some things are outdated and this is no longer used and some things like that. So I'm like, okay. I took my resume and emailed all these email IDs of all these career consultants who are available on the website. So I emailed it to each of them individually, requesting their feedback and what I can do for it. You'd be surprised as to what kind of responses I got. Oh my God, it was some career consultant never responded. Some people gave me some feedback, like in the comments, the word comments. Some people redid my entire resume and said, this is how you do it in the US. I hope this helps. And after all this, I had like 10 different resumes or some X number of different resumes. And I looked at all the commonalities. And then I just incorporated all of them in my resume. And that I think really did a lot for me. It just changed everything. My resume was transformed from this 2-page document in a traditional style to this North American format, which is in use in US. And it's pertinent. It talks about exactly what you do. It gives the readers who are American employers know exactly what you're doing. Everything that you need to read is at the right place. They don't have to go searching for it. So that was really a big help. And it is all free. So you're already paying for it as part of your tuition. So why not use this? And this was just one hack I can suggest, which anybody can do. I don't think anybody's doing it, but I benefited from this greatly.
Definitely. Yeah, getting that feedback is super important and very helpful. So Prithvi, you had a unique experience when getting a graduate assistant, a GA role. So help our viewers understand that as well.
This is a really unique experience, I'd say, wherein I was part of this course, digital marketing course, and I wanted to do something totally different from what was being taught in the course. So we were given a budget and we were said, run some Google ads, bring some clients to the customers and all that. And I said, no, this is not a good approach. Let me try this other approach, which costs less and probably will bring you better results. So we went with a different approach using Quora and some organic marketing. And the professor really liked this. So he then decided, I said, okay, I'm facing all these challenges here. He said, okay, I will look at a GA position for you. And he submitted an application for a GA for me. I submitted the application and he just put it through to the business school and to the university. And it was all going really well until at some point they figured out that I was an international student and some of the funds which were being used for this position, and this is specific to the business school, were only allowed only domestic students to partake in this GA-ship. I was not allowed because of this reason. As international students, we're not allowed to claim any federal funds. So that was the roadblock. And then from this entire dream of GA, I just came down to a job. So they wanted me there. So they gave me a job, which was paying quite well. And I just did that since November, so it's my 9 months or so I've done that. But so this also happens. Everything could work out, but still you could just still have some roadblocks like this. I mean, I'm glad that I was considered worthy of it, but you know, it didn't work out in the end.
A lot of technical things in America that, again, it's all about the research, learning what's really going on, which you found out again and again and again in your journey, trying to find out those real answers. And friends, since the main theme of this video is really, an affordable education, getting scholarships, saving money, I want to share about two things that are to help you save money in your journey as well. And that's Juno and Wise. Juno is a company that provides tuition loans, typically at better interest rates. They can even refinance your loan for a better interest rate. And Juno also offers medical health insurance for international students. So if you want to save money on your tuition loans or medical health insurance, check out Juno. They can definitely save you some money there. Another great resource is Wise. Wise is what I use to transfer my money to other sides of the world. So whether you got to send money to pay tuition fees, you want to send money back home to family, or for whatever else, Wise is safe. It's fast, it's secure, and has the cheapest fees out there. So I definitely recommend Wise and Juno for you guys to save some extra pocket money in your study abroad journeys. Another cool thing I found out is me and Prithvi are using the exact same cameras. We're using the Logitech Brio webcams, just found out in this conversation. But if you want to upgrade your virtual meetings for presentations, virtual job interviews, this is a 4K webcam that we're using right now that we highly recommend. That's pretty budget friendly too. So if you're interested in that, I'll have a link for that as well. But we can both attest that it's working great and very easy to use, easy to customize. And Prithvi, thanks again, buddy. This was super helpful. I learned so much because these are such big questions we get from our community. So thank you for hanging out and telling your story.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much for having me and spreading the message of this program and the opportunities for 3 years bachelor students, and for all the great work that you do. I'm grateful. I've been watching your videos since I was back home, and it was really helpful. And it was actually one of those things where, okay, this white man is talking about this, and it is such an interesting thing to say. And your videos are great quality, cover all the pertinent topics. So I'm just grateful for that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. It's been fun having you as a guest. And friends, be sure to connect with us online, like Instagram, LinkedIn. Be subscribed to the Chine Coaching e-newsletter for great tips, resources, and events. And we super appreciate you guys being part of the Chine Coaching community. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.